How's it going, everyone? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to anyone watching this. It's Javi here, and today we're gonna check the first tropical cyclone in a while that has just formed, which is Tropical Storm Florence, and also the potential tropical cyclone that's expected to form in the Gulf of Mexico just right after Labor Day weekend, which has, as of right now, a 50% chance of forming within the next 5 days. As for the next 2 days, it has a low percent chance of forming, only 20%. But it does seem like it has a chance over the next 5 days to develop as we move on to the hurricane season. And then we have Tropical Storm Florence, which basically just came off the coast of Africa. The winds are right now at 45 miles per hour. Central millibar pressure down at 1002 millibars, and it's moving west at about an average of 16 miles per hour. So as we're going to look at the track of this, you can see that originally the track of Tropical Storm Florence was supposed to take a sharper turn more north, basically roaming just around Central America as we head into later next week. But it seems like the track has moved just a little bit more towards the west, which is, I think, definitely a much bigger worry for not really the United States yet, because we're still far from forecasting it to make a landfall in the Americas. But at least for Bermuda, this is something they should definitely be paying very close attention to, because it seems like the track is basically going straight towards the direction of Bermuda, and that's always a little bit worrying when you live on that tiny island where you have nowhere to run or evacuate to. So Bermuda, you definitely need to be watching this, especially since both of the computer models are expecting this Tropical Storm Florence to not only strengthen into a hurricane, but potentially a strong catastrophic hurricane as it heads more towards Bermuda. And you could see that the European model, this as of September 11, 2018, it takes a tropical cyclone, Tropical Storm Florence at 964 millibars, which is equivalent to a major hurricane just east of the island of Bermuda, while the GFS model is looking a whole lot scarier, because it's taking a 930 millibar hurricane just to the east of Bermuda. Thankfully is that it should stay far enough where I wouldn't even expect tropical storm force conditions from this scenario, but still, I'm predicting basically 10 days ahead. There's still a lot of time left, and it's still far from over when it comes to forecasting the direct impacts to Bermuda. So there's still a lot of uncertainty with this track, but as of the next 5 days, it seems like it's headed towards the general direction of Bermuda. But don't take that like, oh my god, we gotta start preparing now, because there's still a lot of time. I'm predicting over a week later. So as I said before, like, forecasting hurricanes over a week is nearly a guess at that point. So it's still far from certain that this is gonna hit Bermuda, but it's still something to keep track about. And what's gonna be the question of Tropical Storm Florence is when does that weakness between the two high pressure systems hit? Because originally yesterday, most of the computer models expected that weakness between the two high pressure systems, one that's centered over the east coast of America and another that's centered just close to the Europe area, and there was expected to be a weakness between those two high pressure systems. But now the forecast models are shifting the track more towards the west, which may pose more of a threat to Bermuda. But the key factor is how far does that dip go and how strong is that weakness. It's definitely far from certain to see at this point. It seems like the GFS is taking a slightly more stronger area of weakness between the ridges of high pressure just to the east of Bermuda, but there's still a lot of uncertainty with the forecast of Tropical Storm Florence. But as of the tropical storm strength of this storm ahead, it seems like you could see by the National Hurricane Center forecast is that it seems like it's gonna remain a tropical storm for most of the time, and that's due to the uncertain wind shear that could possibly play out. But it's expected to rapidly strengthen after the Thursday time frame, when it seems like the wind shear weakens a little bit as the storm gets closer to Bermuda. So we definitely need to keep an eye on that. And next we have to check the potential tropical cyclone that could affect the Gulf Coast later in the work week as we begin school and work. The South probably already begun school at this point, but anyways, we begin work right after Labor Day, and it seems like a potential tropical cyclone could develop in the Gulf of Mexico later into the work week. So as of right now, 50% chance of developing. It's caught an disorganized area of showers, and I'll show you why. Because this is basically the tropical disturbance the National Weather Service is talking about. You can see very disorganized, but I have been noticing a little bit more convection with these thunderstorms and this area of low pressure, which is a very high low pressure. If you know what I mean, it's basically a very weak low pressure system, but you can see that the thunderstorms are still very disorganized. You can see that the outer bands are basically drifting away due to the stronger upper level winds that are just north of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico area, basically shearing away those thunderstorms from really circulating around the center of circulation, which is definitely weakening this storm. And it's a reason why it only has a 20% chance to develop in the next 2 days. But it's expected to, as you can see in the Gulf of Mexico, the wind shear is relatively weak right now. There's some wind shear centered around Florida, but it's expected that wind shear is expected to lessen as we move on 5 days from now. And then we could see by GFS model, it's taking a slightly more weaker storm of Florence, basically taking a very weak low pressure system making landfall. Wait, I'm a little bit too ahead, but basically we have a tropical storm that's just gonna make landfall what it seems like to be the Louisiana, Mississippi area, but it's gonna be a very weak tropical storm. But even if this doesn't even develop into a tropical storm or anything, there's still gonna be a chance of enhanced thunder showers around the Louisiana, New Orleans, and the Gulf Coast states as we move on to about Wednesday, September 5th. So about 5 days from now, the Louisiana, Mississippi area should expect more enhanced thunder showers and possibly 3 to 5 inches of rain expected in those areas. Whether this becomes a tropical storm, a tropical cyclone, or just a tropical disturbance, it seems like it's gonna drop possibly heavy rain in those areas. So, oh wait, the delay is off. Alright, my bad about the lighting, guys, but anyways, this tropical disturbance could make landfall in Louisiana. It seems like it will, but the real question is how much wind shear there will be, and the models are kind of disagreeing with the wind shear amount. As you can see, the GFS is taking a significantly weaker storm than the European, and you can see that the European is taking a slightly more stronger storm. They're both relatively weak storms, especially for the month of September, but in terms of tropical cyclone development, since it's been such a quiet August, it seems like it could produce some enhanced rain showers and possibly some gusty winds and possibly strong rip currents. So anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time. So have a great day.